Okay, I'm now at section 4 of this, and here we come to serve the patriarchy. And this is the core problem of women serving in the forces, which is, and I talked about this with regard to Trumbo, whose war is it? Because it's all well and good to have women be equal, of course, uh, but equal in what? I mean, an equal share of colonialism? You don't want to be an equal colonialist, because that's essentially what the deal is. And of course, it's a very tough thing for, say, generally white women, or even people of color, to come from big, powerful America, as Ali would say, Muhammad Ali would say, and then go to another country which is desperately poor, and oppress it. It's like, so how is that feminism exactly? I mean, I thought the idea was not to oppress. It's like I expect men to act badly, and I expect the patriarchy to be bad news. So this is an old discussion in feminism, and so here we go with an example of this with Vasquez.
Hey, Vasquez. Have you ever been mistaken for a man?
No. Have you?
Oh, Vasquez. You're just too bad.
So here's Vasquez, and it's impossible not to look at this and her working out with Drake and see an erection shot. I mean, if that were two men, we'd be just going, look at that. It's like Top Gun all over again. Except in this case, it's a woman. So what do we make sense of that? Well, at the time, feminist discussions of the film, of which there were many, basically called as phallic feminism, really, of one kind or another. It isn't really feminism, is the argument. It's Thatcherist. It's a Thatcherist position. Because remember that in the 80s we had Reagan in America, we had Mulroney in Canada, and we had Thatcher in Great Britain. And Thatcher and Reagan were the most terrifying of these. And Thatcher was this is not a nice person. This is not. And it's like, yes, she's the Iron Lady, as they called her. But and yeah, she had to be strong in a man's world, and she is essentially at that point she was the longest serving, most successful female politician in a democracy. Now it's Angela Merkel and any number of other people who are really shown that having women in charge is actually really a good thing, and which we sort of we sort of suspected it might be. So Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand, and there's I think in Denmark. I think it's Denmark. The cabinet, I think the cabinet is 60% female, and they're just, it's great. I mean, they're bringing in this tremendous bunch of really good laws, and it's good. Now, obviously, this doesn't work. It's again, we don't want to fall into an essentialist trap here. But okay, another whole discussion. So make a note. If you want to discuss this, bring it up. So Vasquez is essentially, and this is ironic too, because she's supposed to be Hispanic. Actually, she's played by Jeanette Goldstein, who's a redhead. Who from her last name, I mean, maybe she's got a Jewish background, who knows? And so she had to put on 2 hours of makeup a day to look like a Hispanic woman, which is, I get that Cameron wanted this actor, but it's like, there was no Hispanic actor in all of Hollywood? Okay, so it's just, it's a bit much. All right. So then we get Ripley and Hicks. Okay, so now have a look at the next little piece here, where Ripley and Hicks have a little love affair with a gun. Okay, so here we go.
Hey, I want to introduce you to a personal friend of mine. This is an M41A pulse rifle, 10 millimeter, with an over and under 30 millimeter pump action grenade launcher. Feel the weight.
Okay, what do I do?
Okay, pull it in tight here.
Right.
Lean into it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, out will kick some. All right, when the counter reads 0 here, you...
I press this up.
That's right. All right, get another one in quick. Slap it in hard.
Right.
You're ready to rock and roll.
What's this?
That's a grenade launcher. I don't think you want to mess with that.
You started this. Show me everything. I can handle myself.
Yeah, I noticed.
Now have 15 minutes to reach minimum safe distance. Emergency. All personnel must evacuate immediately. You now have 14 minutes to reach minimum safe distance.
Okay, so what you just saw was the closest we get to courtship and sex. Now the courtship has already taken place, right? Or it's about to take place because he's gonna give her the bracelet, and this effectively makes them into a unit, and then they operate as a partnership. I would argue a male-female dyad partnership that is a potential family. And they then form a nuclear family, no pun intended, at the end of the film, where Newt is the daughter, and so together they make a family, and it just makes sense. Ripley's the brains, Hicks is the sort of, the farmer smarts, he's kind of the quiet, laconic, would have been the hero 20 years ago, well, actually only like 2 years ago. And Newt, who is this, they're legitimately their kid in the sense that she's smart, she's like Ripley, she's tough, but she has Hicks sort of real politic about her, and so on. So you can see this family unit forming up quite nicely. But Ripley and Hicks have to have sex. Well, they do, right? They have sex by playing with a gun. And it's like, what do you do now? It's like, well, now I touch this button, and that turns you on, and then I drop out another magazine, and it's like, okay. So that's quite a funny scene, as far as I'm concerned. And then we get Ripley with her two guns. And these are the scenes which were picked up by men and women alike and discussed differently. Men looked at this and they were like, "This is great. We love it. This is we think this is fantastic. It's so attractive, and Ripley kicks ass, and Ripley is our hero. And if this is what female heroes look like, we're all for it." And women were like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, we see that. Yeah, we're good for that. Okay." And the Time magazine started calling her Fembo because of Rambo, right? And so this is 3 years after the second Rambo movie. But the real issue is, of course, that we're dealing again here with a phallic patriarchy where what does Ripley go up against? Like the company, which has really put her in this position? No, another queen. So it's two queens fighting it out together. So in the end, the patriarchy coerces two queens to fight. So how is that good for women? So it's a problematic issue. Okay. Flamethrowers. Yeah, I have a little thing here about flamethrowers, but I'm going to leave it out because it's about weapons. And we can talk about flamethrowers if you want to talk about them.